Take a breath, because the internet has a brand new obsession and it wears the faces of Ozan Baba and Sinem. In a single evening, a cascade of photos and short clips from their latest public appearance rolled onto timelines and thundered through Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, elevating them to a glittering new pedestal. It wasn't just that they looked good, they radiated a kind of effortless harmony that turned a simple outing into a cultural moment. Comment sections brimmed with praise, and fan pages rushed to declare them the most stylish couple of the season, if not the entire year. From the moment they stepped out of the car, flashes chased their every move. Sinem shimmered in a sleek, modern ensemble tailored to move with her, catching the light without ever begging for it. There was a soft glow framing her smile, a warmth that felt tangible, and viewers couldn't help but attribute it to the new chapter she seemed to be stepping into. The contours of her look were both fashion-forward and tender, the perfect balance for a woman whose presence can command a room while still whispering something intimate. Next to her, Ozan matched her aura with unforced elegance. The lines of his suit read sharp yet fluid, as if crafted for him alone, while the understated details, the subtle texture of the jacket, the burnished tone of his watch, the precise way his collar sat, sent stylists and fans into analytical rapture. It wasn't only what they wore. The way he guided her through the crowd with a gentle hand at her back, the smile she gave him when he leaned in to say something only the two of them could hear, the tiny pause before they faced the cameras, synchronizing in a shared breath that said, "We're here together." Each micro-moment became the kind of content people replayed in slow motion, screenshotting it, turning it into edits, and adding captions that glowed with admiration. Within minutes, their names soared into trending lists, igniting threads about how rare it is to see style and sincere connection intertwined so naturally. What made the feed-breaking explosion unmistakable was the coordination that didn't feel coordinated. They didn't look like they hired an army to choreograph the night. Instead, they looked like two people in tune with themselves and each other. Fans marveled at their symmetry. Sinem's modern romantic notes meeting Ozan's refined restraint at just the right temperature. Fashion blogs zoomed in on their accessories, matching the metallic edge of Sinem's earrings to the quiet sheen of Ozan's cufflinks, and then zoomed back out to declare the duo the blueprint for couples styling in the year ahead. And yet, the reason the posts kept spreading went deeper than fabrics and cuts. The chemistry between them carried a pulse you could feel through a phone screen. A shared laugh that seemed to spill out without being posed. A protective gesture that said more than 1,000 scripted lines ever could. A quick glance that flashed, disappeared, and then returned with an even brighter spark, telling its own story about trust and familiarity. By the time the evening had given way to night, entire accounts had devoted themselves to them, stitching together montages from different angles, overlaying music that swelled with emotion, and collecting comments that read like confessions. "I don't even care about fashion, but I can't stop watching them." In the wake of that wave, a common sentiment emerged: their style feels like it's telling the truth. The internet is saturated with glossy images that can sometimes leave viewers numb, but here was a pair who looked genuinely comfortable in their own skin. The balance of formality and ease made it seem like they weren't striving to impress anyone, they were simply showing up as themselves, polished but unpretentious. Their body language spoke volumes, from the gentle mirroring of steps to the soft laughter shared between shots. It made people feel like they were peeking into a private celebration rather than being sold an overproduced campaign. Industry watchers took note immediately. Overnight, predictions appeared that Ozan and Sinem would define the year's couple trends: clean lines with a touch of poetic flair, coordinated but never carbon-copied, modern silhouettes tempered by romantic details, and a commitment to authenticity that refuses to be edited out. Designers began reposting their images, mapping color palettes to match, and stylists added their names to mood boards with bold circles. Fashion writers waxed lyrical about equilibrium, how his composure anchored her ethereal glow, how her warmth drew his elegance into softer relief, how together they created an image that made people want to dress not only better but kinder, gentler, more lovingly. The reaction across social media unfolded in real time. One fan broke down the appearance frame by frame, noting the alignment of their hands and the rhythm of their steps as they turned toward one another. Another noticed a subtle detail in Sinem's neckline and spun it into an entire thread about wearable confidence. Someone else mapped out Ozan's grooming choices: slightly tousled hair, intentional but not overmanaged, a trim that spoke of discipline but also of a person who lives outside the mirror. Dozens of edits paired their images with quotes about partnership and trust. An hour later, the app's Explore pages were filled with their silhouettes against the night, glinting like cinematic protagonists. As the buzz grew, it became obvious this wasn't only a fashionable evening but a milestone in how audiences connect to celebrities. The comments didn't just ask for brand tags. They asked for stories, for behind-the-scenes glimpses, for little moments that feel like they belong to real life. People wanted to keep revisiting the feeling that those photos triggered, a sense that love, in the right lighting and the right company, can look like grace. Ozan and Sinem's names circled back again and again, not just in trend reports but in late-night conversations and morning group chats. The effect was cumulative, each new post feeding a larger narrative that fans felt part of. Even the media, who often analyze a look within an inch of its life, seemed to surrender to the simplicity at the core of the night. Instead of the usual dissecting, there was a lot of celebrating. Editorials framed the duo as a reference point for the year, a lighthouse for couples searching for inspiration that doesn't eclipse individuality. And when someone tried to argue that the moment had been meticulously planned, the footage softened that claim, the half-smiles that slipped into full laughter, the unguarded way they looked at each other when the cameras weren't aimed directly at their faces. If there was a plan, it was only this: show up, be present, and let the rest follow. Sinem's glow did its own work online. People swapped words like radiant and serene, praising how she chose pieces that move with her rather than constrict. There was a conversation about how maternity and glamour don't have to occupy separate lanes, and how her presence showed that comfort and charisma can be co-conspirators. Ozan, too, drew his share of heartfelt commentary. He stood a step behind when needed and a step ahead when the crowd pressed, a choreography of care that felt instinctive. He didn't compete with her shine. He reflected it, and in that reflection his own elegance seemed even more striking. Hours turned into days, and the momentum didn't fade. Each photo they shared after that evening added kindling to a fire already burning bright. A mirror selfie with shoes aligned like punctuation. A casual sunlit snap that made even a simple tea look like a statement. A candid video of them walking past a storefront, laughing at something unseen. These posts didn't feel like marketing. They felt like chapters in a book people wanted to keep reading. And the response kept spiraling upward, with followers waiting for the next page to drop. Some of the most touching responses came from those who said the pair made them believe in modern romance again. Not the fairy tale version, but something grounded and alive, where you can see the work and the joy in equal measure. If you looked at the edits long enough, you could spot recurring themes. The angle of Ozan's head when he listens, the way Sinem's hand settles at his wrist, the soft center they find together in the chaos of a crowd. Whether you call it chemistry, compatibility, or simply timing, it read as something precious, and people protected it with the fervor of fans who know how fragile the internet can be. One outlet ran with a headline declaring them the year's undisputed style leaders. Another placed them side by side with iconic images from decades past, arguing that timelessness happens when personality and presentation meet in seamless conversation. A third observed that their power wasn't in spectacle but in restraint. The words most often used were ease, warmth, and sincerity. And in a digital landscape addicted to extremes, their moderate, measured glow felt radical. Of course, no wave rises without a few voices questioning it. A handful claimed the fuss would fade by morning. Yet the mornings came and went, and still their names hovered. What anchored the fascination was the sense that Ozan and Sinem weren't performing a part, they were living a moment, and inviting the rest of us to witness it. The virality had its own momentum, but it stayed tethered to the very first thing that set the evening apart: two people being wholly themselves, together. As the predictions multiplied, so did the mood boards. Every stylist worth their title collected references from that night: textures that can breathe, accessories that whisper rather than shout, tones that complement instead of compete. Couples began to show up on date nights blending palettes instead of cloning outfits, trading in spectacle for subtlety. A trend took shape in real time, traced back to a single appearance where the narrative was not simply "look at us," but "feel this with us." And people did. It's impossible to talk about what happened without noting how much emotion fed the fashion. The angles looked good, yes, but what made them iconic were the emotions tucked inside those frames. A laugh bubbling up too quickly to be staged. A glance that answers a question without words. Feet that find the same pace without trying. That is what audiences recognized and rallied around, and that is why the conversation keeps rolling forward. Every time new content appears, it's not just another picture, it's another reminder of why we cared in the first place. As the comments made their way across platforms, the refrain repeated, "This is the couple to watch." Whether it's a red carpet or a coffee run, people want to see how they interpret the moment. The stakes are not in shock value but in coherence, in the way they stay true to a shared aesthetic while remaining graciously human. That's a hard balance for anyone to maintain under a spotlight, but somehow they make it look like second nature. The longer this story unfolds, the more it inspires. Some fans have tried out their own interpretations, mixing pieces they already own with unexpected details, posting side-by-sides, and tagging them with playful nods. Others have crafted heartfelt threads about how the pair's connection resonates beyond clothing, how it models a kind of care that shows up in little ways. A hand placed here, a door opened there, a smile that travels across a crowded room and lands where it was always meant to. And that brings us to now, with the buzz still humming. Every new image, every short video reel, every interview snippet adds another layer to the portrait. It isn't just style, and it isn't just romance, it's the merge of the two, wrapped in authenticity. The excitement doesn't feel manufactured because the foundation isn't. The story that started with a few photos has become a living thread woven by fans, fashion lovers, and casual scrollers who didn't expect to care until they did. Whether you've followed Ozan and Sinem for years or you waved them in with this moment, one truth rings loud: they set the bar this year. Not with shock tactics or the chase for a headline, but with a graceful certainty that what they have is enough. Their romance reads as elegant without losing its warmth, and their look set trends without losing touch with reality. That is the sweet spot, and they've found it. So keep your eyes open. The journey is clearly not done. With each step, they continue to draw people close, reminding us why certain stories catch fire and keep burning. And here at Whispers of Turkish Stars, we'll be right there with you, bringing every viral beat, every luminous frame, and every tender exchange as Ozan Baba and Sinem captivate the world one appearance at a time.